Okay, what's going on, guys? My name is Sanity's Designs, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a effective logo and background in Cinema 4D and Photoshop. This is going to be fitted. This is probably going to be put into one tutorial. If not, it'll probably be in two parts if I think I'm running over. But without further ado, here we go. So first, what you want to do is you just want to get a logo. So I'm going to use Dare's logo for now. Okay, and just basically get a Lightroom open, then put your logo in it, and drag both paths out of the null by just, so say if I just put these back in here, all you've got to do is once you've opened up the null, you click on both the paths holding shift and just drag them out of the null, and then you can just delete the null. Okay, and then go to this little box here which looks like it's got a little atom array around it, and then you hold it and go to extrude NURBS. Just hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V for however many amount of paths you've got, and then just drag them in. And then again just hold shift and click on both the NURBS. You want to go to object. I like to make my third movement about 90 because that just gives it that little bit of depth. I'm just going to rotate mine backwards so it's in the light more, and I'm going to move it up a little bit and just push it down back. Okay, and then just double click on it again, go to caps and put both of them to fillet caps, and then just put the fillet caps onto 2. And I suppose you could put that to, you could put the middle one to whatever you think looks good, but I'm just going to keep it to 0 at the moment. Actually, let me just push this forward, and here we go. I'm just trying to find a good position to have it at. Just to find positions, just render it. Just to see what the position comes out like. Look, what's that question mark? Okay, yeah, that's good. So, what I like doing is if you find this bit down here too dark, just zoom out, take your logo up, just rotate it, you zoom in, and you just get it until you think that it's acceptable. So of course I'm going to put mine here. I'm just going to rotate it a bit, zoom in a tad. Okay, and then you just want to, oh sorry, before you put the materials on, you just want to click Alt G to put it into a null and name this main logo. This just helps keep things more organised and makes things so you can find it a lot easier. And then on the main logo, on the null, you just want to drag a material on, and when you see it go this grungy sort of grey colour, you want to go here where it says projection and change it from UVW mapping to cubic. And that didn't work. So I know why it didn't work. It's because every time I boot up my Lightroom or one of my friends' Lightrooms, sometimes it doesn't save, so I know where it is. So let me just go to Viper's materials, grunge, this one. Okay, so it should work now. If not, I'll just save this and boot up the Lightroom again. Okay, yep, it worked. But I don't like that one as much as Robbie's one here. So as you can see, it goes to a grey colour, but it doesn't have that cracked sort of material on it yet. So what you want to do is I've got his here. I won't hand this out because he says not to give it away. I'm just gonna drag drag the mats what I want on. Okay, and then drag this on, put it to cubic. Okay, as you can see, that is that's a pretty good material. What I normally do is, if I don't think the material looks as good as it could, I move it back down, just to see what it will look like in a different sort of lighting. Okay, you see that looks a lot better. Because you just got that grungy sort of, you got that sexy sort of grunge material on it. I'm just gonna change my fillet caps down to, oh shit, excuse my language. I'm just gonna change my fillet caps down to 1. And then you want to hit Control C, Control V, and then hold Shift on the null that you've just created and click Atom Array. As you can see, it will bring these spleens, or this line with balls around it. You then just want to go to Atom Array and put it to about 0.8, and then get an atom array material, or just a random colourful material. Nothing too bright though, for now. Okay, and as you can see, it's just got this dark sort of atom array grungy thing to it. What I do is, if I don't like the way it's done, I just pull it forward a little bit so it's more visible. Like so. Because then you can just you can brighten that up a lot in Photoshop. So hit Control C, Control V on the main logo again. You then click both the extrude NURBS, go to Python, Plugins, Nitroblast. And if it's not in Python Plugins, just go to Plugins and it should be here. So Python Plugins, Nitroblast. You want to set it to about high, put the pieces to 200 and the thickness to 5. And just wait for it to break the extrude NURBS. And I've already got my default materials that I want on the atom array. So it'll come out how I want. Okay, and then hit Shift and click on both the Nitroblasts. The same again, delete it out. Then go MoGraph, Fracture. Put both the Nitroblasts into the Fracture. You right click, delete without children, and then hit Control on both the Nitroblast objects, delete them, and then on the main pieces, delete without children, and then static, you delete, and then highlight both dynamics, delete without children, and you should have all these pieces that comes down. And then you want to click on the fracture, you want to go MoGraph, Effector, and Random. And then just put the strength down to what you think will look good. And what I sometimes normally do is I then just get another random effector and just put that down to about 7. and then render that to see what it looks like. And whilst this is rendering, I'll be back. So I'll be back in a second, guys. Okay, guys, and I am back. Hello. As you can see, I've got this Nitro Blast around here. It looks pretty good. I've got the Rocky effect, and it's got like fire and stuff on it. Of course, you can make the rest of this look as good as everything else. What you could do is just as a thing, you can put a couple of platonics in here. You can just shape them down a little bit. Of course, then just copy and paste. You know, just like doing graphics is, you know, it's pretty difficult once you get started, but once you've made up your own sort of style and something like that, then you're absolutely fine. But yeah, what you want to then do is just move the materials onto the platonics. They're all cubic, and then I'm just going to render a region of it like so, just to see what it looks like. As you can see, it prepares the displacement. This could take a long time. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. See, you've got these little platonic things, and it looks really awesome. So then copy and paste the last platonic, just put it down here a tad. You know, and just make up your own styles. Don't copy this one completely. I'm not saying it's mine, but I'm just saying it's the one I use the most, and I've modified it quite a lot to fit. I do it to fit my sort of backgrounds. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to render the settings. So let me just do it. So there, render to picture viewer, and I'll be back again once this is rendered out. So I'll see you in a bit, guys. Hey guys, and I am back. That took 13 minutes to render. That's not as bad as all my others. It looks pretty sick with those little platonics in it and things. So yeah, all you want to do is just go File, Save As, and your render settings where you saved it before, it would already be there, but just save it again just to be sure. And then what I normally do is I just save it into my Lightroom. I exit, and then I go to my graphics folder. I open up my banner template. Okay, and then I hold Alt and roll my mouse wheel to zoom in, and then I take these off. I take all these off. I take my flares off, and then I go File, New, make it 800 by 800. That's just what I like to do more. Okay, and I drag the color correction by Sunny on. Go back here. Just make sure it's over the actual thing. Fill the background in black, and then get your logo render that you've just done. So as you can see, that looks pretty nice with the color correction on it. I'm just going to rasterize the layer. Now you see, what I would do for this is I would just create a new layer, and just to give it an effect, get a paintbrush, make it a faded one, put it to about 141, and literally just click around the logo a little bit, just to make it that tad brighter, and then put it to overlay, or soft light, whatever one floats your boat. It just makes it that little bit brighter. I normally put it up to like 59, because then that will give me time to open up Sonny's pack on my desktop. Just get the pack open. Okay, and then get his textures. I get the metal one first. Just extend the texture, put it on top, go to overlay. Whoops. Okay, just close the color correction up, just put it above, and then put the opacity down a little bit. I put it to about 75, I think that's just where it looks good. Okay, and then get his water texture. I won't be giving this pack out because again it's a buyable one, and I don't think people will be very impressed with me if I sell it, or not sell it but just give it away for no reason. So I always like just putting it under and then just turning the opacity down, so it's just got that slight little bluish tint to it that makes it look as effective as it is. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can... Oh, actually, I forgot one thing. Normally what I do is I get a different pack, just where it's got. So let's just go for this pack here. And what I was saying earlier about the cracked texture, where you can make it look like cracked, I always put it over one side, and then I just put the size of it up, just like that, and then put it to overlay, and then get a new layer, just brighten it up a little bit, just a little bit though, not too much. Just go to soft light, turn the opacity down, and then there you go. Sorry guys if I sound a bit weird, it's because I've got a cold. So yeah, once you've merged all this together, you can drag it over to your banner template, put it down, just make it a tad smaller, put it under the color correction, now see, it doesn't matter if a bit of it's being cut off, because it doesn't look too bad, but as I don't really like it when things are cut off of logos, it really just annoys me. So it will have to stay small, but it will look effective on YouTube, I think. I'll upload it to YouTube and give you a final preview at the end. Yeah, that looks okay. So once you've got the color correction, you can just click Ctrl J and just stretch the second logo out and just place it behind, and then you can do the same again. I normally do it about 4 times, just like that. Make the last one a lot bigger, like that. And then I like to turn the opacity down on them, so I put the first one to about 76, first one to about 63, and then the third one to about 57. And if it doesn't look right, then just turn the opacity down on them. because this is the sort of effect you're looking for. Because you can see it like comes out at the side, so you can then just merge them together, because then you can create a new layer, create a clipping mask on layer 47 or whatever layer you have, just like that. Paint over it in white, like so, and go to soft light, and then just turn the opacity down on them a bit. I like to put it to about 8. That's just what I think looks effective for it. And this is where you can then start getting into the real sort of thing. So what I always like to do first is I like to put the flares on it, where actually what I do first is I put a light on it. It's just something that I've always done, because I think I can then just work from the light. I normally put like 2 lights on there. I'm not sure how many I'm going to have to put on this one, but okay. And then if you really wanted, you can move it over like that, just to give the back bits a bit of an effect, and then duplicate it, and then duplicate it again, and then hit Control T and flip it horizontally. Double click and then just do the same again by clicking Control J. Just turn the opacity down on them a little bit, and then just get this sort of light, what goes over the whole thing. Put it above these lights, because this is the one that just gives it a little bit of a glow, and it really does look effective when you use it. What I always like doing with these sort of lights though is just adding a hue and saturation, and just putting the saturation up a tad, just to make the light a bit stronger and a bit darker, just like that. Okay, and then that's that for the lights, and then I got on to the flares. Now, I'm not sure what flares you guys use, but I literally just use the most simplest flares I can find, because you don't really need big bold flares to make a piece of work look effective. At least that's not what I think. So you then just want to turn it so it looks straight. Like so. You can put it on top of everything else. Do exactly the same to this side here. Whoops. Okay. And then you can turn the opacity down on both of them, like so. And then on this one, you can just... Whoops, I don't know what happened there. The brush wasn't that big. Choose just one flare, and then get the second flare you copied and move it until you think it looks good. So I'm just going to move mine up a little bit more and to the left, because you want it directly on this line, really. Maybe just on the flames, but if you wanted to, you can just make it so dim. You don't even have to have the top light. I just think it looks effective. Okay, and then I just get a hue and saturation again, create a clipping mask, saturate it out, and then just change the colour to a red. And then just change it to darker sort of red, so it looks like it's creating a sort of glow effect from the back, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to use a different sort of light for this one because I've just got a feeling it will be a lot easier. So I'm going to open up this pack, open up the pack, flares. I'm just going to get a shorter flare. Actually that flare wasn't that good, so I'm going to get the long flare again, but this one's already on linear dodge. Then you hit Control T, click this little button up here, and you can just bend it a little bit. Just put it up because that looks quite nice actually. Okay, and then again just change the opacity on it. And then again just get a hue and saturation, create a clipping mask, put the saturation up and change it to red, and then just put the lightness down. And as you can see, it creates like a little glowing effect, and it looks pretty nice. But then what I like doing is opening my pack. Sorry, I'm just gonna put myself to offline as on Skype, so I don't get any messages. Okay, and then you want to get the pack that has got particles in it, or just a pack that has particles. Preferably these particles because these are the ones that look most effective. And then you just want to copy it over 3 times and turn the opacity down to about 15. And then that's fine. Actually, I think I'm going to put them to about 19 just to show them that they're there. And then I don't need anything else from that pack. Go into Sunny's pack. Okay, and then you can create some smoke coming from either side. Just erase the darker bits of the smoke. Okay. And then if you think that the logo's not revealed well enough, you can just put it to really low. It will still give it an effect. As you can see, it's darker down the bottom. And then I always like putting this sort of hexagony sort of texture down the back, if you get what I mean. So what you have to do here is go down all the way behind your texture. Now you see with these ones, you merge them together, double click on them, go to colour overlay. As you can see now, it's just white. You go to overlay and you just turn it down to about 58, so it's not really that visible, but you know it's there. And then you can just copy and paste. Like so. And then you can then turn them down even more. And then you don't really need any of these at all. At least for not what I'm gonna show you today. You could have some particles coming off of the logo, like so. What I like to do is I just like to erase these ones that's over this side, like so, and then erase the ones that are here, and then right click, go to the move tool, right click, duplicate layers, okay, Control T, flip horizontal. As you can see, that comes off that side. Now see what you can do with these, just turn the opacity down on them and it'll just give it this jagged look on it, what you want. And then you can write what team name it is, so the Dare Arts. I always have an arc lower. But as you can see, I completely fudged that up. So if that's not for you, then you can just write the Dare Arts normally, like here. Double click on the text layer, go to stroke, put it to about 1, go to a gradient overlay, just turn it down a little bit, and then turn the opacity of the text down a little bit, just so like you can see it but it's not really that visible. Okay, and then just click Control J and then go to your text tool or your type tool and then roster and then Control J on here And then if you don't know what it is, then you can easily boot up Google Chrome, go onto YouTube, go to the Dare Arts, just here, okay, and then yeah, most people search for Dare Sniping. There you go, Dare Rising. There we go. So yeah, this guy's actually pretty good, to be honest. But yeah, then you can have like roster, the Dare Arts roster. Then you can have something that says like check out Dare. Dare Rising. But that's not really one for me. So you can just move the Dare Arts and roster over here, or you could just have it here and then Control J over here, just a little bit bigger. Creativity is the key. And then just make it a little bit bigger. Turn the opacity down. Okay, and then there's your finished background. I think that's turned out pretty well. Pretty good, yeah. And then what I always like to do to end these is Jazzle it, and I'm going to show you a couple of the comments. So yeah, final preview of everything that I've done will be at the end of the video, including comments from people. So for now guys, my name's been Sanity's Designs. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys later. Peace guys.